Greetings everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the fuck you are, and welcome to the K2 Black Panther review. It's basically an Abrams, well a Korean one, so it's got American flags because I can't actually afford South Korean ones. Anyway, this is the Tier 10 South Korean MBT, and it comes equipped with 3 different playstyles, only 2 of which you should play because the other one is not really great. You can get it either from the EK, you can either get it from the Humvee or the Redback. This tank comes with quite a lot of over progression features, and it is coming with heat rounds, but at the moment it only has AP. So start off the line, we have stock armor, spore liner, and enhanced maintenance kit. This is the same as on the K1. I'm not really sure what protection means. I thought it improved the armor somewhat, but I haven't really seen much of a difference, so it may be bugged. Either way, it might be a good idea to get that first because this tank does rely on its protection quite a bit. The second thing to get is probably going to be the APS. This is almost functionally identical to the APS used on the Wilk, Uplot, and the Anders. 5-second cooldown, 4 charges. Honestly, in terms of the amount of missile protection you get, if you had more charges, it'd be fantastic. But it is a great APS to get. Generally speaking, when it comes to playstyles for the tank, there are 3 options: the 120mm smoothbore, single shot fire reload time. If you do the loading mechanism upgrade, you can get it to around 5.6 seconds. There is then the choice of the magazine autoloader, 2 salvo size, and you can get it up to potentially 4 shells, but there is a better playstyle for that, we'll get onto that. And then finally there's the ready rack, which comes with 3. Now, the ready rack is going to be the worst of the bunch, as it's a ready rack. Long reload time, even if we went with the ammo rack upgrade and the gun breach, even if we went for both loading mechanisms, as you can see here, its interclip time is still 4 seconds. 7.7 seconds though, which isn't terrible, but at the end it's still 3 shells, which means you have inferior firepower to both the Merkava 4M and the Alte, and the Merkava 4 still reloads faster and the Alte has more shells. So generally speaking, what you want to go is for the magazine autoloader. The smoothbore cannon as well is actually pretty damn good, 5.66 seconds reload. With Douglas you can get it down to 5.2, but in the end that does make you into a rather weak 120mm, as it's not as good as the 120mm on the same tier in the game, such as the XM1A3, 99A2, K2 as well, Alte, and where's my 4M? Like for 4M as well. If we're talking about basic shot 120s, we can see that the K2 has very fast reload time, almost as fast as the XM1A3, but it has the lowest damage with the Alte, with the Merkava having less. But remember, the Merkava has 4 shells, 6-second reload, and the Alte has 7. And keep in mind, these 2 are ready rack vehicles, which means the Merkava and the Alte will beat it out in a fight. The 99A2 has a much stronger damage, and the X23 tops it. If we're just talking about the tank stats overall, as you can see here, it has very low hit points, 3,400, far lower than the 99A2, and is beaten out by the Merc and the others. It does, however, have extremely good mobility. This is the hybrid engine, 1.7 seconds. This thing is faster than a fucking Alte, but is beating out in top speed. But generally speaking, the 0 to 32, as you can see on the K2 here, is 1.7 seconds, which is absolutely insane. Its acceleration is nuts, and comes with pretty decent camo as well. Lastly, it comes with the same depression as the Alte does, but its accuracy is quite bad. And are you really going to roll an accuracy commander with this? Its accuracy is almost as bad as the Cat B, and is more of a challenger to outdo. Now, generally speaking, what you want for the firepower is to go for the ammo rack upgrade and the gun breach. This will give you 3 shots of your magazine autoloader, and most importantly, it will give you a salvo reload, or a reload between times of around 2 seconds. This means bam, bam, bam. Basically, once you fire that first shell, you're going to get another 2 off in 4 seconds, which is utterly fantastic. Now otherwise this tank does come with the diesel engine upgrade, which does give you more top speed, but it is overall inferior to the hybrid. The hybrid's what you want. I wouldn't really bother with any of these two. And then lastly you get the K-pop commander and the designate target. Now designate target comes, and then you'll be able to get the improved target tracker. Basically this means you'll have a 30-second duration time, which will help significantly and goes on to the possibly the best playstyle of this tank, but we will look at that in a few minutes. Now the protection of the K2 is very much a mixed bag. As you can see here, this is versus 850 pen, which is the second highest AP pen in game. The turret ring is quite green, 700, which means tier 8s and all tier 9s will go through. Turret ring is actually quite large, you can't hide it. There is that beak there, 816, but 62% chance, and these are the areas everyone will go for. That's actually very well armoured, to say the least, and while it says 350, that's a ridiculous type. Turret ring as well, basically impenetrable, 1000mm, pretty good, but we come on to the side protection of this tank, and in no way, shape or form, unless you know accurately where you're going, is side scraping going to be a good idea in a K2. Simply put, the turret ring is too big. Now, the engine deck is actually quite relatively well good, but as you can see there, the side armor ain't good at all, and it's 350mm, 350, which does mean that autocannons are going to struggle to go through, but the rear of the tank is shit. Lastly speaking, there's also an ammo rack there, 17mm, engine, and you will also be able to ammo rack the tank in this side as well. And you can also do it that bit as well. So overall, its KU resistance is actually pretty good. Only really the 2AX will be able to absolutely butcher this thing, but it will still lose in the fight to the higher DPM vehicles in the game, such as the 2AX, the T4, possibly an Armata if you're using a single shotgun, and the XM1A3. Now, this is where things start to go south for the K2. This is its missile protection versus the 1200 pen of the Sphinx. You see that 60% chance to go through, 100%, and the turret ring as well, and it gets worse if we do the cornet. Basically green. This thing follows the philosophy of the K1, pretty damn good resistance versus Sabo, but versus shape charges, I wouldn't even bother. Hold down, it's not going to save you, and well, you can't really side scrape either. Actually, what's it going to be versus the AFT-10? Oh, Jesus Christ, that's even worse. Look at that. Anyway, there are two very distinct playstyles you're going to have with this tank, apart from the gun. Now, with the magazine autoload, as you notice, you have target designation, but the new commander in the game gives the ability to increase the RNG by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30%, 35%. The RNG of the game is around 10-15%, so we're talking anywhere between 40 to 50% increase of RNG. This means that the tank can roll anywhere between 350 to 850 damage, basically the same as the 140 on the T4. Now, you know where I'm going. With that magazine autoloader, 3 shells, 3 times 850 is 2600. That's the ability to one-shot a tier 9 AFE, and the magazine autoloader has a 13-second reload. If you play your card rights with the 30-second, you can deal 5,200 damage to somebody if you have your cards right. But at the same time, it leaves you very vulnerable, as without that target designation open and using the K-pop commander, you could hit someone for 300 or 800. You don't know. So there is that playstyle, and you can still use other commanders with the autoload as well. Otherwise, generally speaking, if you do want to go for the auto-loading playstyle, there's always the option to use Cortez, simply to run max damage all the time, but why not just get an Alt-8 or a Mac, right? the target designation and the K-pop commander kind of go together. I don't really want to see him on any other vehicle, as it might be hilarious to hit someone with the 152 on the Armada for a ridiculous amount of damage. I wouldn't risk it. Now, other commanders to take with this thing, as usual, the usual MBT thing, Cortez, deal max damage all the time. Bit boring though. The option to use Douglas O'Reilly will definitely help out on that single shotgun. You can get it down to 6.2 seconds, and with the hybrid engine, the acceleration under 25 kilometers an hour is nuts. There's also the option to use Vincent as well. Generally speaking, Vincent helps out with all things. You know, I like this guy. Better reload speed and everything, and better aim speed too, but the minimum spread increase of about 5% isn't really going to help this thing. For instance, let's look at this compared to the dart guns of this tier. Cat B, Object, and the 152. As you can see here, the minimum spread of the K2 is almost in line with the Armada. It's only slightly better than the Atdu and the Cat B, and it's a lot better, but essentially speaking, this tank will have issues hitting people at long range, and when you need to snapshot, it can and will have issues. Yeah. And then lastly, for crew skills, driver, basically I'd go probably for acceleration and either field repair or smooth ride. And then the gunner, I mean, at what point are you going to want to do that? But the gunner probably want to go for preventive maintenance or aim speed. The reason why I say preventive maintenance, as a lot of people will be shooting at that turret ring of yours from all angles, so that gun's going to get in the way. It's a pretty damn big turret ring as well, look at that thing. Anyway, let's have a look at some games. Right, welcome to Salzburg, and you can see this thing is actually quite low to the ground compared to the others. It's just me and the K2, no platoon mates this time, bunch of 490s on the other team. And this is me using the ready rack 4 shells, as I kind of wanted to do this, and you're going to see the advantages of course having 4 shells, but also the disadvantage of having an 8-second reload. As you can see here, I went for the 50% bonus to cycle between times, so 2 seconds is pretty damn good. And for the moment, what we're going to do in this game is, this was actually my first ever game, the K2. PvP, anything really, so... I was a little bit hesitant about throwing this thing into the mix like I usually did, as I have seen. Obviously, I'd seen this thing's armor model before, and it's protection versus missiles, so I was a little bit hesitant about throwing it into the thing. The Armada, especially the T-14 with its missiles, can actually punch through this, so I'm not really happy about that one. So, see here, 490 over there. I'm still going to have a little bit of issues throwing at 490s, to be honest. This is my fault and not the tank's, really. Let's see. I was hoping I hit him. No hits there. I believe I hit that 490. Let's see, 390 there. That's me using the K-pop commander. And I actually got hit for 900 by that 490. That's simply because while there's great angling, of course you can see what happens if you go belly up in this thing. People will go through you very fast. Now there's a bunch of enemies down there, so I figured our team's probably got this on. So let me see if I can go down here. Bronze Alte over there, lots of people. I'm pretty damn hesitant of getting this all up right. Cat B. I'm trying my best to hit this Cat B, but he... Well, I'll try my best to target designate him, and you know the issues of using target designation, it can be a real big issue. Trying to hit these 490s. Alte as well. I remember trying to shoot this thing. There we go, target designated. Beautiful, 856 damage onto him. He's backed off. The target designation will happily cause people to back off as well, which is probably one of the best things, really. People don't really expect it. There's about 2k done so far. But yeah, pretty mix of guns at the moment. Hey, 490 damage done to an object, 490, eh? I'm trying to see if I can bait this 490 shots, really. Okay, backed off there. Now, trying to hit the 490 in its lower plate is a pain in the ass, I can tell you that. Still, we should be able to back off now. Oh look! And we can go hull down as well. Now, as you have seen, the accuracy of the 490 does leave a lot to be desired, so I could potentially go for them, but if I'm hull down, they can go hull down as well, so some issues going on there. Merc over there, 650. The 490 is actually protecting him. I'm trying to hit this guy in the 470, yeah. And if I was using that autoloader, remember 13 seconds. 490 did have a very good game at protecting that Merkava, by the way. Still 823. And I think we can move that now. Bomb the Merc, and now we are down to that single shot firing, which obviously the autoloader or the single shotgun would have been a hell of a lot better to use as well. S21 is firing hesh at me, but I'm not really particularly bothered. That fucking 490's lower plate again. Really not happy. Got him. He's down. Designated the 490. 856. Something was firing missiles at me. Don't really know where. But yeah, hopefully we can slap that 490. And yeah, do got him. So, yeah, those guys are able to handle the T40. So let's see who else we can basically kill at this point. Doing about 5k damage so far, which is pretty okay. There's a redback over there. 371. And unfortunately, shot missed. Which is the peculiarities of using this commander. Anyway, kind of hoping to go for that K21 at the moment. Where is he? Oh shit, he's behind me. But I'll tell you what we can do. Might be able to target designate him, and I'm a hell of a lot faster than this. Okay. 659. Ooh. 7 and bounce. What can I say? The gun can be very temperamental. And of course you can use an accuracy commander, but then you wouldn't really be able to use this thing properly, really. Anyway, not really a bad game if I may say so. So far my stats in the Black Panther have actually been pretty okay. Here. At the moment we're on about 5,000 per game, 2,500 received, 5,000 bounced, and a total of 15 games. Compared to the Alte, which is at 19, the Alte, this does perform better than the Alte, but this has better armor than the Alte, and I am using it in a much different way. If I was using the 5-shot ready rack as I was with the Alte, I think I might have had more issues. Now for this one, 7,500 damage done. Pretty damn good right there. 5,000 damage spotting. Now you will get spotting damage on this thing with the target designation, as it basically overrides who spotted it first. 3,000 damage bounced. Total potential damage done would have been 12, but 490s and stuff. 4 misses, 52 shots fired. Pretty okay, I guess. Okay, the next game is going to be the best game I've had in this thing yet, so let's go have a look. Alright. This time I'm with my friend Dark Demigod in the Humvee, and we are on Lost Island, 11 versus 11. I did remember to roll the dice this time, but they were inconclusive, as always. If you don't know about the dice are... Basically, I have some dice with me, and I roll them, and they give me a number, and we figure out where to go. For instance, the number the dice gives me is 22. It's... it's a dumb way of doing, but we like to do it because, well, dice gods. Now, different strategy on South Island this time is that most of our MBTs seem to go in north, so we might as well. Now, you can see here, this is very fast for the hybrid engine, as you note in the thing there. A hell of a lot faster than that diesel engine, so you can dance around. And I'm using the 3-shot mag with K-pop Commander, so meta build for the K2 that ever mattered, really. Now, I have actually had some fun success with a single shot, but... And of course the single shot will probably give you the highest DPM overall. But, of course, the single shot is probably going to be the best option for PvE, really, as constant firing. But I kind of like this thing. So anyway, sent 120 over there, not really going to be able to do much to him. He's dead. But there is an XM103. Target designate 877. Ooh. That's a lovely hit right there. And remember, this thing will at some point get heat rounds. So should be able to roll quite a bit higher then. Actually, I'm actually kind of scared. This thing with heat rounds? Jesus Christ. Anyway. Still a bunch of stuff going on around. So, let's see about that K2 over there. Now, 2 K2s fighting against each other can be a bit hilarious, as they can't pin each other's lower plates, they can't pin each other's turrets. 770 hit right there. Miss. And reload. If you're using a magazine autoloader, remember to reload all the time. You don't want to be caught with your pants down thinking, oh, I have one more shot, because that's a pretty terrible thing to do. Cat B down there, I can't really pen him. Ooh. And I am kind of terrified of being double tapped by him. Incoming. Fucking Artie right there. Love it. And remember that I was actually very paranoid at this time, as our where the encounter cap is basically open. I was proved right, of course, eventually, but it does happen. Cat B down there is spotted. K2 is down there. Bounce. Like I said, 2 K2s fighting at each other is actually hilariously pathetic. Ooh, hit by him there. I believe that was in the turret ring, probably. And there's a T40. Okay. Remember, I have a magazine autoloader and I have target designate. How do you think this is going to go for the clerk? Target designate 856. 856. 856. I wasn't joking when I told you about this thing's ridiculous autoloader capacity. The T40 has been summarily dealt with. Now, unfortunately, we have a T14 to deal with, a T15 to deal with, which I'm not happy. But that T15 can likewise kill me as well. Ooh. Just figured out, oh. Hey T14, how you doing? 1, 2, bang. Now, remember, using that commander, anything could happen. Bounce from that Cat B. Being able to jig around in this thing and its autoloader does mean that you will be able to go through people. Now, the Cat B doesn't have a turret ring weak spot, and it's only green in some places, so I can't really hit this guy. I can't really hurt him frontally. Not really happy about it. He can hurt me though, and there's a T15. Basically butchers right through my front armor. I managed to get him to jink on my tracks, but that's me doing the best I can. Another 856 to the Cat B, he's been driven off, and now I've got a fucking T15 on my ass. To say the least, I'm not very happy about this. Now, the Cat B does have a pretty long reload, so hopefully maybe I can punch through this. This T15. Ooh, almost. XM1A3 gone through. But lastly, we're not going to be able to win this game. I know we won't. The Cat B's mostly run off for now, I think. And there's the Cornet. The Cornet is going to kill me. It's green to Cornets. What can I say? But that wasn't actually a bad game. Now I think about it. So anyway, let's have a look at those post-game stats and see how we did. Now, remember, I was jinking around like absolute mad, which is kind of like the army you have to do on the Altair. You have to jink around, bounce around from cover to cover. The hybrid engine is very good for that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's green to missiles, so what can you do? Anyway, K2 Black Panther, 8,000 damage done. 1100 spawning damage. Pretty decent overall. Now, I do have to ask you, how much damage do you think I bounced in that one? Total potential damage, that would have been 9,600, it's not really bad. Total potential damage balanced, 15k. I believe that's, if not the highest damage I've ever bounced in Armored Warfare. I remember I had a game in my Charlie where I managed to bounce a ridiculous amount, but oh boy, I'm actually going to have a look now. Because 15k damage? Fuck! I haven't bounced that much in the Object 490. You know? I'm actually really, I actually really want to look at a Charlie game. Now I think about it. Where are you, Mr. Charlie? Okay, well, it's somewhere. Anyway, 15k bounced. Of course, no damage. No fucking protection versus missiles except the occasional track bounce, but there you have it. It's an interesting and unique version at all, but the only playstyle, in my opinion, to go for is the single shot or the autoloader. The ready rack just makes you into an inferior Altair and the Merc will kill you. So, magazine autoloader all the way, 3 shots, done. That's it for the review for the K2 Black Panther today, people. I hope you all enjoyed it. Next, I will be doing the Humvee, which is the most abusive vehicle so far. It's as abusive as the Cat B when it came out, and as abusive as the MGM when I went around massacring squads of 490s with it. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, everyone, and I'll see you all for the next review. Bye for now.